Welcome back, everybody. Automotive Inc. Today we're out in the plains and we're getting ready to rock and roll out to Lake McConaughey. Actually, we like to go to Ogallala. This is the drop lake to McConaughey. And we're about ready to put Optimus to the true test. We got some 108-degree temps coming today while we're towing. We're towing 19,000, the way we got it loaded up, and we're following it up with 17,000. This is going to put back-to-back trips. We're going to monitor fuel economy with 2 different weighted trailers. We're going to be hauling water and generators and dogs and tons of firewood and grills and everything. This is a week-long trip that we make happen every year. So as we get going, guys, this is going to be a cool little fun run with 2 different trailers, 2 different setups, 1 video. Make sure you smash the subscribe button for me. Hit the thumbs up, notification bell so you know I'm posting new content. It does help my small channel out. And we're all about putting the Gen 2 L5P back to work. Let's get rolling. All right, everybody, so we are rolling with our 19,000 plus, and we're heading to Ogallala. Right now it is about 10:30 in the morning, and it's already almost 100 degrees. So this is going to be a good little torture test. So far, how'd the truck do coming out of Denver? All flat, but how'd it do, lady?
I thought it did great. Not a hiccup at all. It almost didn't even feel like we were pulling anything.
Yeah, the power is amazing in here, no problems. You get some extra weight in the back of these heavy-duty trucks. They do ride a little bit better. They're still going to let you know they're a heavy-duty truck when you hit some big bumps, but did really, really good. Yesterday we had high temps, 108 was the highest, yeah.
Yep. It was really hot.
When we were coming down and towing out of Denver. And so, like I said, this video is going to be kind of cool because, like I said, we're going to take Optimus and it's going down to Ogallala, coming back down to Ray, Colorado, or my hometown, my stomping grounds, to do what we call our annual trip. This trip is special to us every year. When my dad passed away, he asked me to make sure that this trip happened as long as my mom wanted to go. So every year, whatever truck we have on the channel does double duty in the same day. Now, last year we had lower temps, and today is not going to let up. Today we're expecting over the hundreds.
107 today, I think.
Yeah, so we're actually going to be doing some heavy duty stuff. Now, my mother's and father's trailer is a little bit lighter, the Cruising Castle, so I anticipate fuel economy will go up a little bit doing that. Again, we're on the rolling plains, so not too much. No wind right now, but right now we have our trailer hooked up, and let's take a look around the cabin here. So as we take a look, again, we have 97 degrees or 96 down here. You see it 96.2. We can see, again, I keep bringing this back, the Loki, that trans temp always ran in the 230s with this kind of heat. This thing's 149 degrees. We can see my engine temp just below that. We can see our current drive summary, and then coming out of Denver towing down here, we got 12.1 miles a gallon. This average speed meter never makes sense to me. I could spend 4 hours driving at 75, 10 minutes driving at 35, and it says my average speed is 51. So that's not true. We did about 70 on the way down here because it's mostly interstate. And I usually don't tow much over 70, especially when we're loaded down like we are with water and everything. It just benefits us in fuel economy, and it really doesn't change the clock. But we zap over here, we can see that out of our 21 miles on the truck, we have used it to tow our genuine 872 miles and almost 10.5 miles to the gallon. Don't worry, guys. We're going to go over all the trailer tech in this thing and how it is better or worse or just plain the same as the Ford, and if not. But we're going to do a lot of towing today, so we're going to have a lot of fun. This video won't be overly long. So like I said, we're just going to come back as we talk about things, and as the missus comes up with great things to talk about or things that I need to make a note of, we will talk about it. But we're just going to keep crushing some pavement, and we're going to catch you here in a second. All right, everybody, so we've wrapped up this section here. We went 89.6 miles. It says we've got about 10.5 now, including that idle time when the truck was warming up. 99 is our current temp. Let's turn around and look at that. So just so you know, I'm not fooling you, we're at 100 now. So our average temp is right around 96. Pan over here, we have 149 degrees on the trans temp. That's as hot as it went. We're doing 65. That is the speed limit. You can see right there to the right. And we're at good on the engine temp. They don't give you a specific number. So overall, this is a beautiful chunk of highway to drive on, guys.
Yeah, it was really nice and calm.
Yeah, Nebraska, you seem to have a lot of nice roads. We really appreciate that. So keep up the good work. you know, fuel economy, guys, you got to realize too, there's a lot of people say, well, I get better fuel economy with this and this. A lot of that's going to do with weight and wind resistance. So some of the fifth wheels are rounder and they help with that, but when you're towing 19,000, that's a lot of weight. But overall, how was the ride in the truck?
Smooth. I mean, the air conditioning was nice, and we didn't smell any cow poo, which is nice. I swear this air conditioning has like a filter in it.
Yeah, we'll have to unpack that on another video, but we did notice that when the AC's on, we can literally drive by the feedlots and stuff, everything stinky that we normally have to drive by, and no odor. So, well done Chevy or GM on that little ditty. But you know, the cabin's super quiet.
Very quiet.
You know, it's just a good riding truck. Of course, the nice roads do help. When you're driving Colorado, all of our roads are pretty much trash. So yeah, so after this little trip, guys, like I said, your fuel economy should go up if you're towing lighter. You're towing something less wind resistance and stuff. But this little chunk, this is about 90 some miles each way. We're gonna do this twice today, so up and back. So 4 times when we drive this 90-mile stretch, we're gonna go back, get to Cruising Castle, pick up my mama, and then we're gonna pick up her pups, and then we're gonna come back down, and then we're gonna do this again at the end of the week. So we're talking 8 different times this truck's gonna rip up and down. So it's gonna be grueling, it's gonna be fun. I think by the time we bring the Cruising Castle back, it's gonna be even warmer. I'm gonna take my wife, my lady, my mama, not my mama. We're going to take her, drop her off at the camper, get her set up, and then I'm going to head back and do all the work. So we'll just monitor fuel, and I think as the engine breaks in, it's going to get a little bit better. But I'm telling you, I'll link the video down below where I made this trip last year in Loki, the 7.3 Godzilla truck. I swear the trans temp was running 230, and we definitely were getting a little bit less fuel economy because it seemed like every time I turned around, I was having to fuel up. But it was windy last year, so we'll see you here in just a little bit once we pick up the others. All right, everybody, so we're driving back empty, no trailer. We're getting ready to pick up the Cruising Castle and my mom. So I want you to park your guys' anticipations on your diesel versus gas. So here's where we're at. All right, so over the last 84 miles, 17.5 is the drive summary, 1.25 hours, 17, so almost 18 miles a gallon, 62.4 miles per hour, which is, I did 65 or 66. So we're gonna hook up the Cruising Castle and see what that gets towing. It's a little bit lighter, but you know, whether it's diesel or gas, I will say this is this Chevy truck just cruises right along. I mean, it is great, smooth ride, and Kong was great, but having the extra amenities is super nice. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes when it comes to towing, but I guess if you have to be a diesel guy, you want to be a diesel, the GM diesel is the cheapest, and it's really good. You're going to get a little bit better marginally, which I mean is 3-4 miles a gallon better maybe. I think I filled up for $3.39, and gas is a smidge cheaper. So so far, I'm not disappointed. I mean, it is what it is. Diesel's always going to get better fuel economy. It's going to pull obviously better, more power, more torque. But I mean, when you're sitting here saying you got to get 10 times better fuel economy, it's probably not going to happen. Maybe we'll see that. I don't really know. But yeah, this truck is so nice to drive. So we'll see you once you get the Cruising Castle hooked up. Alright guys, we're ready to hook up the Cruising Castle, so let's check this out. So we go into here, go into add another trailer, go into your trailing menu, add that, we're going to delete this crap, and we're going to put in Cruising Castle. If the last trailer you put in here was per se whatever, it'll just go to that profile. You can go in here, you're going to set everything up, you're going to walk it through, travel, set up features, and so the profile is set up. So now we're going to go in here and we're just going to go into towing assist. Done. We're going to set up that feature, and we're going to go in here to lights. We're going to run a light test. Let's get out and check this bad boy. Alright, so it's cycling through all the lights. You got your parking lamps, marker lamps, left blinkers. Depending on your coach, you may have blinkers on the side like a semi. This is an old school beast. So we got our brake lamps, Left blinker. Right blinker. And if you're able to gander up there, you'll be able to see we got our brake lights and backup lights. Not all trailers come with backup lights, but legit high-end ones will. We got our marker lamps, and this should flash for the right blinker here in just a second. So we got a right blinker. So the only reason why you bought a diesel, exhaust brake on, tow haul mode on, park brake off. Let's get this bad boy out of the shed. So now this should recognize and monitor fuel economy and everything for us. So let's get going. All right, everybody. So we've been driving for a little bit with the Cruising Castle. Got my mama there.
Hi.
Not to be confused with my mama, which is my lady. So we got Chuck and Larry back there, which is actually Charlie and Lily, but I always call Lily Larry. So we're cruising along. Trucks did great. We're probably 29, about 30 miles out of Ogallala, so we're staying the night there early. This is the patriarch that's left of my family. My pops has moved forward, and so we make this trip happen every year for my mom. She loves it, so until she doesn't, I would climb the mountain of Mordor to make this trip happen every year. So we're going to do it as long as she wants to. So we get the extra luxury of doing some extra filming here where we're ripping across. Let's look at some temps here. All right, so you can see right there, 105 degrees out here in Nebraska. And again, GM works their voodoo magic. 171 degrees on the trans temp, and the engine temp hasn't moved at all. And we're clicking along at 65 miles per hour. Now, get this dialed in, so we have the Cruising Castle dialed in. So I'll show you the fuel economy. So the trailer is a little bit lighter than the Jenny Lynn, which we towed out here earlier today. A little bit cooler. By cooler, I mean 96 degrees, so don't get your hopes up. So still pretty hot, but yeah, let's take a look at what this trailer is getting going down the road. All right, so keep in mind right here, guys, we're at 9.88 miles per gallon over the last 67 miles. So not a ton of data to go over when it comes to that. And I want you to keep in mind that the cooling fan and everything engages when it's super hot. It is hot as shit out here. It'll cook a biscuit on your hood, so keep that in mind. But the Chevy's just been cruising along. I mean, again, they keep the transmission so cool in here. I would have to go back again and look, and I promise you guys I will. But I'll link the video down below from last year where we were towing out here with the Gasser Ford and kind of tell you what it was getting. But again, keep in mind fuel economy should improve with miles. But again, we're just dealing with extra heat, extra everything. So the truck is just functioning correctly, and I can't say that I am disappointed at all. But one key thing to keep in mind, my dad was always a GM fan. He would always poo-poo on my Fords, right?
Yep.
And he didn't like my Dodges. And it wasn't that he didn't like the trucks. It's just that my dad is a GM devout fan, and that's just is what it is. I will tell you this, though. His 11 LML that I towed last year, I'll link a video down below so you can check out that video where he towed over the Rockies. That truck did better on fuel economy. And I got to admit, the 6-speed Allison is much more linear with the exhaust brake when it comes to going down the mountains. But now that this is your first experience in Optimus, what do you think of my new truck?
It's pretty awesome. It's so comfortable and it's so quiet, rides smooth, and it's huge.
It is pretty big, and of course it has lots of tech, which my dad loved tech. Although years ago when they first came out with texting, he said, I'm never going to text anybody, but when they first came out they had apps that would text people. And he was like, I'll send you a kick message, but I'm not texting you. He loved tech, and this truck definitely delivers when it comes to the tech. What do you think about the seat comfort? A little bit firmer than Pop's truck?
Yeah, Dan's truck is a little bit softer to ride in, but they're very comfortable. But
Yeah.
the really neat thing is the running boards. I love the running boards.
Oh, well, tell them about my running boards here.
When you open the door, the running boards come out, and it's not a huge step. This is a really tall truck. But even I can get in. It just makes it really easy to get in and fun.
Right, so it has the power deployable running boards, which if she did get in Loki last year, and Loki was the trimmer with the Raptor running board, so they were up against the cab, and they were a boost. But my mom's a super trooper here, so she's willing to climb up. She made it happen, but these are easier running boards. And this year she's even doing all the work with only one hand, so show us your limp wing here. So when we were down in Mexico, she decided to take a tumble, and but nothing stops her. She's just as strong as my pops, if not even stronger. we were getting ready for this trip, she was lugging 40-gallon buckets. 40 gallons. No, I'm just shitting you. It was only 3 gallons. But still, one wing in hand, she's crushing it. Tough lady here, but she does appreciate the running boards. Likes the truck overall. It's been good. I haven't heard Chuck or Larry complain. So once we get down to the campsite, guys, I will let you know where we landed when it comes to everything. But right now, the L5P Gen 2 is crushing temps on when it comes to trans temp, engine temps. Mom gives a seal of approval, especially because of the running boards. So we're going to catch you here in just a second.